Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to this very special last minute edition of, I don't even know what we're calling it. Oh, special product presentation by Sean Maloney. Woo! And the crowd roars. I thought of this literally in a 24-hour. I said, you know what? I feel like we should have something going on in the afternoon on a Wednesday. So I told all the staff members, and I very quickly sent out an email to a bunch of people and said, whoever shows up, we're going to play for and have a great time. And if you did get the email that I scheduled this morning, you would have noticed that it said Sean Maloney's going to play on one of his favorite virtual orchestras, and it just so happens to be right in front of him. So without further ado, everybody, Mr. Sean Maloney.
Yes, that's right. I'm playing on one of my absolute favorite instruments, and that is the Lowrey EZ4. Some of you on here might have that actually, or you might have an EZ1 or EZ2 or something similar. Well, you'll learn something today because it's very similar, almost the same thing, just you get a bunch more stuff. The EZ4, the reason it's my favorite, the reason I'm going to play on it today is it's got the best value out of any instrument we carry. And I mean that. It's one of the best because it's got a small size, but it packs a punch. It's got tons of cool stuff in it. So I'm just going to play through a bunch of things, and I'm just going to start with an opening song just to get the blood flowing so I can have a good time here. So here we go. Let's do a different instrument. Let's go to the new trumpet. Here's Louis Armstrong. Love that one. That's one of the new rhythms they built into this. What's great about this instrument, one of my favorite things too, is I get a choice. Now I haven't used it yet, but I'll use it as I go through this. You'll see I'll use the top keyboard here, and then I have another keyboard I can go to down here. Basically, this is 3 different keyboards that I can use. So I'll get to that in just a second, but it gives me a lot to do. So next up, what I'm going to talk about here is, let's see, is the pianist and guitarist performers, because I want to make sure some of you have this option at home. I'm just going to switch so you can see it a little bit better, hopefully. There we go. That's my instrument here, right there. So I've got all these different genres or styles of music I'm going to be playing through today here and there. But what's even more fun is not only do I have those types of music, I can choose who I want to play with. Keep in mind this instrument, it's not an organ anymore. No, they don't call it organ. They call it, over here, it says virtual orchestra. And that's because you are now a band leader. You're a conductor. So you get to call the shots and tell them what you want. So if you want to play something like that, that was traditional music. That was traditional jazz. So I used the guitarist performer. I'll talk about that in a second. Let's jump into a new type of music here that they added to this instrument. I'm going to show it one more time so you can see it. But right here, you have a new button. Now, it looks like all these are blinking. They're not. It's just the camera doing that. But this says gospel. So for those of you who love gospel music, or if you don't, you can still use it for anything you want. But I'm going to hire not just any gospel artist, but I'm going to hire a full band playing gospel music. So you got like the Southern Baptist style here. So let's hear what that sounds like with the full band, and then I'm going to kind of show you the difference if I were to hire the pianist or the guitarist. So let's do a big full band sound, something like this. All right, so that's a really fun style to play with because you got the whole band there. Not just one person, you got drums, an organist playing with you. And as you noticed, I can pick who I want to even have perform too. I can play as my church organist up here, or I can be my church piano player down here. And now let's say, for the next song, I don't want to have this full band going. I just want it a little more simple. Well, I can do that too. So I'm going to go back over here and show you. If I want to play gospel music, I can touch the gospel button, but let's say I want to send the rest of the band home and just play simply with my church piano player. Well, now I can do that. Now I can be a professional piano player on this instrument. So I can play things like, any hymn or gospel music will sound fantastic with this, but if you listen, it's just the piano. So here we go. Do my ending. Ooh, love that. And you get to sound like a professional piano player now. That's exciting. Takes a lot of knowledge to be a professional piano player at church. So now I can just do it on here with 2 fingers if I want to. So that's just a couple examples there. And as I said, what's great is you got not just the upper keyboard, but the lower keyboard. For every rhythm, I don't have to think about what I'm doing. Because if I put on a style of music I like, something we maybe already have, like Latin, well, now I don't just get one sound to play with. I can say I want to play 1 here, go down to here for the second half, go back up. And as always, extra choices on the right panel over here. So another new type of music besides gospel, and I mentioned it briefly here, I'm going to play some through here. This is awesome. This traditional button, because it's not just traditional. You got traditional everything. You got traditional full band, which I'll show you first. That's gonna be like a marching band or a polka, whichever you want it to be. So if I use that, I get this huge sound like this, and I'll have a sound here and a sound here. So it just depends what I want to play. So I'm going to start with a polka, and then I'm going to go into Stars and Stripes Forever. So I can kind of do both with this, a polka or a march. Here's my polka. Here we go. So I love that rhythm. It's so fun. You can kind of do what you want with it. Oh, thank you, thank you. All right. So as you can tell, I got the accordion up here. So if I want to play a polka, I've got the accordion ready to go. And then I went down here, and what did I have? The new trumpet sound. Love that sound. Great trumpet sound. It's among many of the new sounds that are built into here. So what I'm going to do next is that's one type of traditional music. But as I move along, if I go to the pianist, a traditional piano player, I actually have classical music now. You know, we get that question often, and when I'm playing on a single keyboard instrument, it's kind of hard to do classical unless you play classically already. But what they did with this one is they built in a traditional piano player who would play classical music. So when I touch that, I'll just show you simply. So now I can be a professional. Something like that. And what I started with the entire show here so far is what I started with was traditional guitarist. That's where I played Hello Dolly with. What's kind of fun on here is if I just touch traditional guitar, it actually sounds a lot different than when I played it because you can customize a lot of things now. So if I just turn on my traditional guitarist, it's going to give me a jazz guitar player, which I'm a jazz guy. I love it. So it sounds like this. So a simple swing jazz. Keep in mind with any of your pianist and guitarist rhythms, if you ever try it, it's really fun. There's a couple buttons in the center called drum volume. You can turn on the drummer anytime you want. And that's what I did for the introduction song. I put the whole band in. So I could play something like this. 2, 3, 4. Go to the bottom. So I got my professional jazz swing group now. So guitar here, clarinet down here. What I'm going to show you here, let's see, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah. One thing that's really fun on here is it actually has a secret feature that you can use your mind to control. Watch this. The fill in this instrument is so advanced that when I play, if you heard me use the fill in some of these songs, I actually didn't even have to reach up and touch the button. Watch this. If I'm playing, let's go back to my traditional here. Sounds like that. I can reach up and touch the button. Just like that. And then they stop. I can touch it just once. I can hold it down. Or I can not touch it at all and use my mind. So watch this. No hands. Isn't that neat? I'm just kidding. You know I'm just kidding. You can't do that. That would be impossible. What I'm doing here, instead of touching the button called fill, there's a new foot switch. I have a foot pedal in this one called an expression pedal. If I kick to the left, I get a feature called glide. Some of you may have that. That's where if I'm playing any instrument I want, like trumpet here, I can actually glide the note like that. Really fun trick. Or I can kick to the right side, and there's a switch on the right of that pedal, which will do my fill. I'm kicking to the right, and then let go, kick to the right, and it does the fill for me, so I can keep my hands what they're supposed to be doing, playing music here. I don't have to reach and touch any buttons while I'm playing. I can just simply play, kick my foot over whenever I want, and they'll do my fill-in for me. So that's a fantastic feature that I just use every day. Thank you. And if you ask any of the staff members too, you know how they use their fill switch, they're always going to use their feet for the most part because our hands are always busy. So it's the easiest to just kick right on over and let it do the fill for you. So I'll be doing that throughout as well today. But my next feature I want to show, I showed you some of the new rhythm styles on here, just some of them. I'm going to show you the, Robert, what did you call this? The $70,000 feature? Yeah. One of our favorite features here. We use this all the time, and for those of you who have it, I'm sure you do too. It's a brand new feature called Song Setup. So let me do this and see if we can just turn this thing. Ooh, let it wiggle there. There we go, close enough. So right in the center there, you see it says Song Setup. That's different from songs, so it's not recorded songs. Instead of recorded songs, the Song Setup is doing all the work for you, so you can play a song yourself. So let me just show you an example so you know what I mean. Let's say you want to play Alley Cat song. Do you guys know that song? If you do, nod. Alley Cat song. If I were to tell you, hey, go home and play that, what button do you push? What rhythm was that? Rock and roll? Latin? Swing? I don't know. And you have to set up your sounds that you want to use and a good tempo. And maybe you don't know how to set it up. And that's okay, because now you have built into here our $70,000 feature. This came out on the Lowry Royale. Is that right? Yeah. So, and it was originally $70,000 that you had to pay for this one feature alone. But now you get it right here. So if I touch the Song Setup button, I get an alphabetical list of just a whole bunch of songs. I think around 100 different songs, most popular songs known to man, and luckily the Alley Cat song starts with the letter A. Don't have to go very far. So here's Alley Cat song. Right if I hit select on that on the screen, poof, it did all the button pressing for me. I don't have to think about what button to press here. I don't have to set a tempo and pick out some sounds to use. It does it for me. So now all you do is you put the music in front of you and play. So let's see what it did for me. That's fun. That's fun. Automatically get everything set up. What did it do? It put on the left side, it gave me a ragtime piano style, which is super cool. And then on my right hand, it set up honky tonk piano, and it even hired for me a cat. So they even paid a cat to record. It's live recorded sound here. So it did all the work for me. I didn't have to do anything. If I want to go a step further, I can always adjust the tempo if I want, change it up if I need to. Or I could even let it set up a song for me, maybe play a different song. Here's one example. I think actually the next one on the list. It's called Aloha Oi. Oi Vey. So it's called Aloha Oi. If I select that, what it does, actually let me show you this. This is cool, but you can't tell anybody. This is cool. What it does is it actually takes my rhythm styles. I just set up for that song, but if you look, none of these style buttons are lit up right here. That's because it secretly put one of the rhythm styles from the upper series organs and kind of hid it away in here. So now in the song setup, I have Aloha Oi. I have the Aloha Hawaiian rhythm. So it sounds like this. Let's use some music here. Aloha Oi. So it sounds great right off the bat, but what I can do also, this is where I have a lot of fun, is I can say, ooh, what else can I do with that rhythm? There's a lot you can do with that. You can be Elvis Presley in Blue Hawaii. You know, you can do... Let's see what's down here. You can hear the birds in there. I love the Hawaiian style because I always want to go to Hawaii. Just sounds nice. And now you can go to Hawaii in your own living room. Isn't that great? In addition to the song setups, you've got tons of them in there to play with. In addition to the song setups, they add a lot of really cool features to this instrument that I use all the time. One just being as simple as a button called Harmonies. We also call that the plastic surgery button because it takes your one finger on your right hand and it turns it into two or three. I'll stop hitting my hand. But you can have different types of harmonies. You have duet harmony where it'll add one extra note like that automatically, or I can have it do an octave harmony like a professional piano player would use. But you don't have to. You could just do one finger, turn on the button. So I'll be using that throughout. And what's great, a lot of these rhythm styles and song setups turn it off or on as needed for you. So you don't have to worry about it. It just kind of helps you out and makes you sound good no matter what. So a lot of new harmonies built in. One feature I use a lot, actually a lot of us here use, is called transpose. And that's changing the entire key of the instrument and either lowering it or raising it. So you can make it sound higher or lower, but you still play the same keys. You don't have to change anything you're doing. And the first song I played, that's what I did. So you can take, something like Happy Birthday, and maybe that's something where you're trying to sing it at home and everybody's like, that's too high, I can't sing that high. You can tune it down, transpose it down. So instead of you have a lot more comfortable, and I'm playing the same notes, but the band plays differently. So you can kind of have it tune for you. Or if you play with a trumpet player, in a jam session or something like that, you can ask them, what key do you want to play in? And they say, wow, you got good. You can play in any key? Of course I can. You can say something like that. Um, so we use transpose here a lot. One other thing I'll mention, and this is just a really cool feature that they put. This is another $70,000 feature. This came out on the Lowry Sterling, which is a really high-end one, really nice one. It's called Fake It. This is fun. If you've ever listened to really any type of song, you'll hear, a melody from the song, the chorus and the verse and the bridge. And what they do a lot of the time is they have an instrumental break or a solo. If you're playing something like Glenn Miller, you have not just, let's do that same rhythm again. If you're playing a Glenn Miller song, it has that main part of the song you remember, like this, let's do that with my drummer. Here we go. And then what they do, they take a solo. So maybe your clarinet player is going to take a break and say, hey, let me play something here, but he's going to improvise. Well, if you guys can't improvise at home, that's okay, because most people can't. It's kind of a hard skill. It's learned over the years. But what I can do is I can fake it. So if I turn on that button, it turns either keyboard you're playing into an improvisation solo. So I can hit any key and it'll fill in good notes. No bad notes. You can't hit any wrong notes. So as long as I keep my chords going, I can hit any key. And then you turn it off, make sure you turn it off, and then go back to the song. Little fake it at the end there. You can even do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love when I have a big audience like that. So that's in short the EZ4. I have a couple other things I can show. What I want to do is turn it over to Robert for a second with some announcements, and then I kind of have a nice fun finale for you I'm going to do with the song setup feature.
Okay, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, I have my audio set up so my audience here will applaud when they need to. Well, folks, what do you think so far? Did Sean do a good job? I can't do the applause now unless can you hear it? Now it sounds a little different there. Well, we have in just a minute, Sean's going to finish up with a finale of some sort, it sounds like. He's got a couple other cool things to share with you. I want to thank you for coming on the last minute. And by the way, I just want to let everybody know, because you may not know this, but we have some EZ4s that are available in our gift shop. Yes, each of our stores has a little gift shop with some EZ4s available for adoption. And so I'm going to encourage you to speak to your favorite personal assistants and find out some more about what's happening, because we got some really cool things on the horizon on the EZ4s. We have some really special opportunities. Is the long story short. And so afterwards, give your store a jingle, talk to your personal assistant, your teacher, or whoever, and find out more, because we have some really incredible opportunities. So hang around, and I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Sean Maloney, everybody. I almost called you Miss, sorry.
That's
Mr.
okay.
Sean Maloney.
I don't know myself sometimes. That's okay. Let me switch here. So, as we said, this is truly one of the best instruments. It is one of my favorites because it does have a lot you can do on it. and it's a nice, convenient size for most people. And I really like this modern, sleek look too. Some people ask, why does it have a silver panel? Organs don't look like that. Organs have, well, that's because it's not an organ. Like I said, virtual orchestra. And what's really nice is that silver panel with the black writing on it. Impossible to go wrong with that. If you ever get vision problems in the future, you'll always be able to see this. That's what's great. You can't lose that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a finale and maybe recap just a little bit. Like I said, great instrument. Song setups, one of my favorite features. A lot of new rhythms built in and a couple hidden ones in the song setup. So if you end up having one of these days, give us a call and ask which new song setups we can show you that give you new rhythms. A lot of new harmonies built in, and boy, oh boy, tons of different instruments, from flutes, clarinets, trumpets, muted trumpet, lots of new sounds. The foot switch, you can't see it here, but I'm pointing to it. That's brand new on this. You can kick to the right, and you got your fill-ins, or your glide on the left, and volume in the middle. So you can do a lot with this thing. It's fantastic. So here's my last number. It's going to be a song setup, and I'm going to do something neat. This is a song setup for the song She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain, but I'm not going to play it. I'm going to play something different. I'm going to play whatever comes to mind because it's more fun that way. But it brings up this great bluegrass style, and the rhythm is titled The Train, and you'll see why. All right. There's my transpose. Here's my fill-in.
And a big round of applause, Mr. Sean Maloney, everyone. And now, before I forgot to mention something, thank you, first of all, so much for attending today. Hope you had a wonderful time and you learned something.